This video will demonstrate working the Kitchener stitch when stitches have been removed from the needle. I've worked several rows of double knitting here, and I want to graft these stitches together so that it has a tubular edge like the bottom of the swatch. I've changed my seaming yarn to a contrasting color just so that you can see the path of the stitches. When you get ready to do this, you want to make sure that your working yarn is coming from the back stitches on the right edge. There is a setup action that has to be done to start this seaming technique. You go into the first stitch on the front of your work as if to purl. You go in the first stitch on the back of your work as if to knit. Once your setup stitches are done, you're ready to start your sequence working in front, back, front, back. Some people put a lifeline in their stitches here because they find that they get worried that their stitches are either going to unravel or they're going to orient themselves differently. I find that that doesn't work for me just because the extra piece of yarn going through and the ends that are hanging just tend to get in the way. So I will try my luck at just leaving the stitches go. Of course, I'm working with wool and they tend to keep their shape and they don't cause any problem. I wouldn't do this technique on something that was slippery or some yarn that was nubby and slubby where you couldn't really see, or a boucle. Wouldn't work very well, this method, I don't believe. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the 2 stitches in the front. One thing that you need to remember is that is helpful to remember is that you can always go in where the yarn came out. Each stitch needs to be entered twice. So this one was entered first before. Now we're going to enter it again. We're going to go in as if to knit and go into the next stitch as if to purl and pull the yarn through. You can adjust your yarn. It actually is going to lay this way. Alright, so I'm going to go into the back stitches. I'm going to go in this first back stitch as if to purl, and I'm going to go through the next stitch on the back as if to knit. And I can adjust my tension. I'll come to the front. I'm going to go in where I came out as if to knit, the next stitch as if to purl. Pull the yarn through. You can see the knit stitch kind of forming there. All right, I want to go to the back of my work. You need to go in where it came out last. You might need to fiddle with it and see. This is where you want to go. I do believe. No, this is where you want to go. We see where the yarn came out last? You want to go in there as if to purl. The next stitch as if to knit. The front of the swatch again. Go in where the yarn came out as if to knit. Go into the next stitch as if to purl. Move to the back of the work. Here's where the yarn went in. Find that stitch. Dig it out a little bit. That's where you want to go in as if to purl. The next stitch as if to knit. Adjust your tension a little bit. Bring your yarn to the front of the work. The yarn came out here. Go in this stitch as if to knit, the next stitch as if to purl. Look at the back of your work. This is the stitch we're dealing with here. See how your yarn went in here? You want to go in where your yarn came out actually. That's as if to purl. The next stitch as if to knit. This helps you really learn the anatomy of a stitch. Come to the front, go in this stitch as if to knit, the next stitch as if to purl, in the back, here's the stitch we're working with here. There's where your yarn went in, as if to purl, as if to knit. Now you might think you're done, but remember every stitch needs to be entered twice. So we only went in this one once, we only went in this one once. So we're going to come back to the front, we're going to find where the yarn was coming out. It's right there. This is the stitch that you're looking for, this one right here. We're going to go in, and that will be as if to knit. And then we have to go in that back stitch one more time. We'll find it. There's the stitch. There's where the yarn came out. Go into that as if to purl. Then you can tidy up your stitches. You can adjust your tension. So that it looks nice.